Okay, today I'm going to try to get a little bit further done. Let's see, yesterday I set up the coil, got it wired. Down here I wired the coil, distributor, starter, and battery cables. So I got all that wiring done. So I need to check on the cooling, check the radiator, and I need to finish the testing the spark and set the timing on it. So get to work on that. I've been looking into the carb setup, so I need I pulled out, which I don't know, oh, it's over here on the bench, the Zenith that I rebuilt last year, about this time last year, and it's in pretty good shape. I just need to go, I may pull it back apart just to make sure, verify everything in there, and set the float level on it. I never did finish setting the float level on it, but I need to finish setting that up, just verify the jets, the idle mixture and mains, and just verify everything in there. And so right now I'm going with this temp tank setup, which is an old lawnmower tank that, I mean, really old tank that's galvanized, probably from the 70s or something, off a larger mower, and probably holds 2 or 3 gallons. But I was able to get a cap for it, and some tubing. So what I'm planning to do is run the temp tank up here, and it's going to come out, and I put an adapter in there, and it's going to run a flex line over to the original glass bowl, and then it's going to run over to the actual carburetor in the engine. So because where the fuel tank's mounted, it's actually back further than the original fuel tank would have been. I'm adding this little flex line to connect them up, and it's just a little bit of rubber line, just like 3/8, 5/16 rubber line that hopefully won't leak and will allow me to use this temporary tank connect to the carburetor. So I need to work on that and get the carb set up, gas and carb set up. Eventually I need to finish fixing the original tank and try to get it mocked up and mounted. But I'm getting close to testing the spark and need to set the timing. So I'm gonna, I guess, start working on some of that today. I pulled the radiator out of the back of the car where I kind of have to store some of this stuff. Be nice not to have to keep digging it out, but I pulled the radiator out, so we'll take a look at that too. So let's start with the radiator, actually. There you go, are you gonna help me? Okay, you can see it. This is the original radiator, and I went over it several years ago and just hit the top here, trying to get some of this crusty, rusty. You can see on the rest of it how bad it was. And on this side I kind of sanded it and put some I think that's some rust stopper, and on this side I left it alone just to see the comparison. I need to go ahead and go back over it, and there's a little bit of the nickel plating showing through, but not much. And what I want to do is try dumping it out. There's a tag there. Kramer radiator cores. Trenton Auto Radiator Works, Trenton, New Jersey, 10/21/13. That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's a date. Maybe that's just their tag. So it looks like it's been re-cored at one point. If I look down in there, it doesn't look good. Let's see if I can get it out of there with these. There's a bunch of mouse dust. Let's see if it'll bump out anymore. Really need to just get some water and flush it. And I'll show you what came out of it here. It had a bunch of nuts, acorn maybe, and I don't know, that's part of the seats, I think, maybe. I'm not sure what that was. Hey, you're not eating this stuff, are you? Don't eat this stuff. Okay, I need to clean this up so she won't keep eating it. And flush this radiator out. Okay, the hose going here, but leave it on the bit. And I think what I'm gonna do is flush it backwards, since I can see a lot of stuff at the top, maybe a lot down there too, but see if we can flush it backwards. Okay, you can see some of the garbage that came back through, you know, that's still left in there. And there may be still some more. Yeah, I could see the ends of the core in here. And they're open, they're not like all corroded shut. And I can see a little bit down the filler neck here now, and yeah, I can see the ends of the cores here also, so maybe a little bit more flushing. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry off a little bit, and I may try to put a plastic bag over the inlets and fill it up with water. See if it leaks out anywhere, and kind of test it to see. Right now it'd be okay to run. Eventually probably need to take it to radiator shop and have them really dunk it in their tank and boil it out, whatever they do. But for right now, I think it would actually work as long as it doesn't leak too bad. So I'm gonna leave it out here for now. So I'm gonna take this bag and some electrical tape. I couldn't find a rubber band. Gotta use a rubber band on this, but this probably should work. Another bag. So the overflow's coming out, so that's good that it's not plugged. It's wet everywhere. We'll check on it later. Okay, so radiator flushed with water for now. We may up it to some vinegar or some lightly acidic to clean out. It doesn't look very corroded. It was just mice nuts and mice packing and stuff in there. So hopefully that most of that has flushed out of it. So I'm testing for leaks right now. So we've done this part of it, and then I'll have to look at how to mount it up temporary on the car itself. So before it got too hot, I wanted to go ahead and do that. It's already 90 degrees and like 95% humidity out there, so I want to take care of that before it got too bad. Okay, Daisy, what do you think about the radiator? I think we got a leak. If you can see right in this area here, yeah, see right there, it's and then I don't know if any more below it or it's just leaking down from there. You can see on this side too, that same area, there's some kind of a small leak. But up here, it's still over the fins, so good enough to test run anyways. Maybe a little bit of stop leak or take it to a radiator shop to get it checked out and repaired. The other thing that my father, when he bought his 28 coupe, the guy had just replaced the radiator, thinking he was having an overheating problem, thought it was a radiator. But he did replace the radiator and the water pump, and the radiator may be fine. So I'm thinking next time I'm going to my dad's house or he's coming this way, we'll just try to get that radiator and test it to see, and maybe take this one, get it record and repaired. Okay, as you can see, I'm trying to test fit the radiator. This is the one that has a little bit of a leak in there, but I'm gonna go with it. And I found one hose that fits, and the other one, the lower radiator hose, is totally wrong. I don't know what it came from, but what I have is a hose that's way too big for this piece of pipe. And I'm not sure this pipe is even right. It's about the right size. And I think what they had was two short little pieces of rubber and a straight pipe. Because I've seen some pipes that actually have a curve to them to go into the radiator in a petcock. That's actually what my other car has a little petcock on it, and this doesn't have any petcock drain. And you know, it would work if I had the right size hose, but this is way too big. You know, it's got the red stripe on it like it would be for a Model A, but I don't know what it actually fits. And I'd have to look around to see if I have just any radiator hose that would work. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and mount the radiator. The hardware that was on this radiator is long gone, so I went ahead and bought the little kit. You get a bolt, spring, castle nut, and a cotter pin for each side. So this is a booger because you have to get the bolt coming up from the bottom through the hole, through the rubber pad, through the spring, then the nut and the cotter pin. And it's not easy to get to. See if I can get this side. What you kind of have to do is just lift the weight off and get it where you could see, like I could see the floor. And there. Then you put the spring on, then the nut, and you just tighten it tight enough to where you can get the cotter pin through. Daisy, what you doing? You helping me? You helping? So I'm gonna have to either get a piece of radiator hose. I don't really have any old ones around here. Or order some. I think I'm gonna have to turn it. I'm gonna take a socket underneath here and turn the bolt so I can get the cotter pin through. There it goes. Just enough so it won't come off. Hey Daisy, what you doing? You can show them? Okay, I wanted to just bring you in here and show you what this radiator mount setup looks like. Up underneath here, which is going to be hard to see on camera, the bolt goes from the bottom through this frame cross support, and there's a little rubber pad. You can see a little rubber pad right there. And then the radiator has a welded on or riveted on mount right here. And then over the bolt, you put the spring, the castle nut, and the cotter pin to lock it. And you can see you don't squeeze the spring down totally. This just enables when these frames flex on the road and radiators don't flex. So this gives the ability for the frame to deflect and flex a little bit without breaking the radiators. So the other side, same setup. You just have a spring nut on top and then the cotter pin. And you can see that it's just a few threads down on the bolt itself. But, you know, with this radiator, I can see right in there, it's been banged up a little bit and maybe repaired right here. It's hard to tell. Daisy, you can't repair radiators. But yeah. All right, I think I got a caps somewhere. The moto meter. Yep. There we go. All right, she's looking a little bit different these days. Then I went ahead and mounted the radiator so I could run it longer, and found some hoses, found a old hose that I had sitting around from 40 years ago, and went ahead and mounted it for the lower radiator hose. It's not correct for a Model A, but it'll work. Previous video you saw there's a leak. Yeah, I see it may have been repaired right here, but I should have marked it. I can't remember. It's about this area or this area. There's a leak that it was just seeping down, and then there's you can see in the photo or the video. So I went ahead and put the fan belt on and tightened the generator a little bit. I got a mounting bracket, but it's tight enough to turn the fan, but I don't have the cutout on here or the tightening bracket. Also, digging in my storage trailer, I found this is the pipe I used 40 years ago. So it's actually still pretty flexible. It's been sitting inside for 40 years. But it was probably off a 57 Chevy or some other vehicle I was working on. But it has about the right curve to it of those original pipes. And I just threw some hose clamps on and fitted on the ends. And I think it'll hold water. It'll hold well enough. Still have that to do something with a hole in the radiator, but this will actually make it to where I can test run the engine for a longer period of time. But without any water in it, you really don't want to run an engine very long at all. All right, I think that's it for now. And I guess got the radiator set up, so now I'm ready to be able to run the engine for a little bit and not destroy it from running it without water, even though this radiator looks pretty rough. All right, everybody, like and subscribe and take care.